Hi, this is the second in a two-part video series on SSTV. Part 1 was all about just getting started and receive. If you look at the top of the screen, there's a link back to that video if you want to go and watch that first if you haven't seen it, and at the end of that video there's a link to bring you straight back to this one so you won't get lost. If you move on from receive only, which is what that video was about, the next thing is to consider transmitting. So if you remember from part 1, we on this menu option there's a settings setup there, and we just looked at the sound card settings there for input and output. There's another setting on here on TX, and this is the COM port, so you need to change this to the one for your rig. And again, if you are a digital user, you'll be familiar with COM ports. It's something you need to investigate if you're not familiar. So this is the PTT COM port for your rig, and your call sign goes in up here. And other than what we said about receive, that's about it. So again, we've got the signal strength bar. We're in auto, and this is the display of the signal, and here you can see the images coming through on receive. And if I go back into the history to see what we've had, various images coming through. So back into receive. So for transmit, there are two things we need for transmit. One is a template, so you will have seen these on the images coming through. If I go back, look for something that maybe uses, there you can see that was maybe based on one of these templates. Well, they all are really, and you can amend them, which we'll see. So you need a template, which is in this S templates tab, stock templates, and there's lots of room for lots of templates. If you made this window bigger, this would expand. There's more of these. You can see there up to 25 per tab. So a template, so that's where your text goes, and stock pictures, so this is where your pictures go. Clearly use pictures you own. You don't want to be subject to copyright, so your own photographs and so on. So if we go into the TX tab up here, here we can see the end of a QSO that went on. If we click on that template and drag it, you can see I can reuse an existing photograph. If I go into pictures and drag a picture I've loaded, you can see I can change the photographs. But first steps, how do we get the photographs? So here you can, while you're on the Pics tab, if I right click there, and you can see load from file, and here on your PC, wherever you got your photograph stored, so here's another photograph. If I click on that, you can see the image brings up there. If I double click on it, and you can adjust the crop marks for this photo. I'm just going to click on max and OK. So there we've got another photo. So if I wanted to CQ with that as my background image, I'm going to drag it like that. So that's how you build up a stock of photos. And in terms of templates, I haven't changed this much, but you can change these templates. So if I bring that one on there, and if you can double click, and you can change this text. You can see there, you can move it around, you can change the size, so you can configure this. You'll see a lot of people using the default to start with. You can change the colour. Go for green. You can change the font. So Comic Sans seems to be the default. So if I put C for, say, Calibri, which is maybe a bit more modern in terms of a font, and you can bold and italicize and so on, as you can on here. Maybe change that back to red. So you can see how you can configure these. You can change this at the top as well. This is the standard default. You might want to put your operator name up here. Down here, if I change that, there's an option to get rid of that /0. There you go, that looks a bit better. And in terms of advice, I would make these quite large, because as you've seen, if we go through the history, some of these images are quite hard to read, and you think, oh, if that there CQ, if that was just a larger call sign, Italy something, might be a Sierra there, you could probably just about make that out. So in terms of this design, I would make it as large without as reasonably possible. So if I go back into well, there's TX there, templates, click on this one again, you can see there the text, although it says G0CNN, the text is a macro, %M, and if you pull that up, my call sign, so you remember from the settings, that's where the call sign comes from. Because that is quite a useful feature. So if we go on to this template, so this is your CQ, this is a reply. I haven't changed this one yet. You can see that I think it defaults to this rainbow colour. So in terms of receiving a signal, as a signal's coming down and you start seeing the details, you can enter the other station's detail in here. So I know HB1ABC. And a signal report, which I'll come on into a second. So as the image downloads, you can populate this log, and you can see already in terms of my reply, it's taken that detail to there. So this is where another macro %C, it's taken that from the log. And likewise, which is a useful feature, it takes the received image and adds it into the template, so the other station can see their image and in your image being sent back. So that's a good feature. And again, that's from the macros. So that to call is their call sign, your call sign's here, and the macro picks up their image as well. So there are three main templates: the CQ, the reply, and 73. So again, I haven't amended that one much, I don't think, at all. So that 73 probably needs changing because it's transparent. And again, pics, we'll say 73 with that picture. So that's how that works. You'll hear again in the settings, I won't go into the detail, you hear at the end of some transmissions some people are sending their call sign as CW on the end. That's part of the features as well, and there's more features as you go into this in terms of designing these templates. There's lots of other things you can do. So we've got another one coming through now. And you can see there on that station's header there's the maiden head locator, operator name, as well as the call sign. So you can make use of all the space, as well as putting in your photos and showing a bit about yourself. You can see there that's defaulted to Scotty too. So in terms of templates and pictures, that's the basics, and you can amend these. If we go back into that template, change this to just as an example, change that to green, and then if you drag this template down as another one, we'll put that there. So we've got another template there. So you can take a master, make lots of variations, and you can change these as you see fit. So we can amend that and take the SSTV off again. Okay, and there we've got the amended one. So you can see you can build up a series of templates, and that's basically the intro to pictures and templates. So in terms of operating a QSO, the images are quite slow to build up, take just under 2 minutes typically. So as a call sign starts to appear, you've got ample time to populate these fields over here. There's a simple logging program in here, and it has got some basic interfacing, but the process is quite pedestrian, and you've got time to update your own log running on the computer, or a manual log say. So I think the newer version, the enhanced version, which I think is still under development, does have some links to logs and uses OmniRig as well, but this version doesn't. But that's not an issue really. Image wise, there is a three digit report to give. So you've got the usual readability and signal strength, so 5 and 9 for example there, and then the last digit is video, which is a 1 to 5. 5's excellent, 1's barely perceptible, and then you've got poor, fair and good. So that one, Papa Alpha 1 Sugar Alpha Radio, make that out. So you might class that as a poor or a fair, depending on your own judgment. And as I said before, when you reply, the other station will see their screen, the image reflected back to them there. So as the image builds up, populate this field and the signal, and then as you get ready to reply, that will be populated, and away you go. And there you can see that has already shown the reply image there as well. So they're the sort of things you keep to hand while you're in QSO, but otherwise it's just a case of using your templates. Somebody else is transmitting now. Using your templates and your pictures, and entering these fields here, and your history will always keep track of what's gone on, so you can always refer back to that. And again, before we transmit, just a word about power levels and settings. SSTV is a heavy user of power. It's like other digital modes, so it'll fully modulate a sideband, so just be conscious of that on your rig settings. As an example, I've got a 200 watt rig here. I'll be running it at 30 watts or so. How I'll set it up is put it on power meter, set it, see the needle on 30, turn the audio down on the sound card to the point where the meter starts dropping away from 30 watts. Check the ALC, it should be in the recommended zone on the meter, and you'll be able to see that if you move the audio up and down slightly, you'll get that peak power for the setting you want without overdriving your ALC, and that should be okay. So I'm just about to transmit. I've tweaked the these templates. So this is my latest CQ. I put a nice clear information bar at the top, and again nice large identification. This is my 73, adopting the same standard, and left enough room for a long call sign there, hopefully, because that's where it'll be inserted when I type it into this field. So there's just one last tweak to do to this, and just to try and get this the same sort of format. So I can amend this bar to match the others. So I want monotone, I want yellow, okay, and I want it a bit longer, so make it 24. So there we go, that's made that yellow. I can make that as large as I want. And ditto that one. Move this down a bit now because it's in the way, as is that 5.9. I don't want the rainbow effect, so we'll change these to no gradation, one colour. I'll leave that as red. I'm going to outline it with white. I'm not going to slash zeros. Just check the font is Calibri, so they all match. And there you go. That one's, just make that a bit bigger. Put that there. So that sort of matches the same format as the other ones. I'll do the same with this. I've lost the white border to that to make it stand out because it's black. Make that white. I think that's Calibri already. Yep. So you can see how you can amend all these. If there's something missing, say I want to put some text in there, or a colour bar. The 73 one, for example, didn't have that colour bar at the top. That'll insert a colour bar, as you can see there. I can delete that. And you can enter a text box. That didn't have a text box there either. So now I've got this reasonably happy with that. I'll drag that back down to there. That's my new template. So if I drag them about, you can see they all sort of match. So there's my CQ, there's my reply, there's my 73, and I can tidy these up. If you get into the software more, you can completely design these outside this application and bring them in as templates. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. So I've got my CQ. I'll pick up a different picture as we saw before, drag, and there we go. So I'm ready to transmit. If I press that transmit button, the transmission will start. Papa Alpha 3, Fox Alpha Sierra. I've entered into the field there. 595, I'll give that as a good one. Calling CQ, and we're on 14.230. Sometimes it can get a bit busy. You need to move either side of the calling frequency if there's a free space. And I'll put that there and transmit. So I'll just turn that volume down a bit. And I'm just adjusting. I can just see my power there. I can drop off a little bit and back up again. So that's 30 watts. The ALC is fine. You can see this scan line going down the image and also the display. And because we're in auto, we're applying in the mode that the other station transmitted in, which is Scotty 1. And you can see there you might want to decide to change the font colour and so on if you've got a particular set of images that don't sit well with the colours you've chosen, otherwise they'll get lost in the background. There's the fans just come on the rig. Back on receive. Wait to see what we get back. Might not have been received, but we'll see. And sometimes the band's busy and you'll get calls overlaying other calls, and then it gets a bit messy, and then you do need to find another frequency. Hopefully this is my reply. Yep, looks like it, doesn't it? G0CNN. There, the fan's gone off on the rig now. Good signal. On the rig, that's a S9 with a little bit of QSB. There's a bit of QSB, then down to S6, S5, S6, S7, coming back up. Fading a little bit. You see the image going slightly there. So I can go back onto TX, brag my 73 picture, maybe bring a different picture, overlay, transmit. So just coming to the end of my transmission. So on another screen I'm going to make an entry in the log, Papa Alpha 3, Fox Alpha Sierra, SSTV I want, which is that one. Put in the signal report, 595. I don't think he gave me one back actually. And enter that in the log. Right, I've logged that. This should be my 73. See what I mean about making text clear? Something, not sure what that says. Radio station, amateur radio station. There you go, and a short image. How efficient is that? I haven't seen that one before, so there you go. Saves me waiting. Well, I hope you found the video useful as an intro to SSTV and gives you the confidence to operate on that mode. It was a little bit long, but can't really shorten it without missing some key points out, and there is more in that software for you to explore. As I said in video 1, the idea is I want to receive pictures from the ISS. I'm going to use this TS2000 on 2 meters FM and use that signal link there as the sound interface. So fingers crossed for later in the month that the ISS is transmitting. And if you like this video, there's more on the channel. They're all about operating and simple projects. If you like and subscribe, you'll be notified of when new videos are released. 73.